Howdy, 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 and welcome to the Red Dirt Aggie Show. I'm Brian, the Red Dirt Aggie. That over there is Wynn Williams. What's going on, man? Good to have you
Hey
here today.
man, it's good to be here. Thanks for reaching out and setting this up. I know we tried a couple times, but man, life happens and
Yeah, it
and
does.
we finally made it happen here after the first of the year. So I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're glad to have you here too. And yeah, man, life really does happen. It got busy around that holiday season for sure.
It always does.
It always does. But you know, so busy can be good though too. So it's things are rolling along here. We're into the new year and ready for a new year here on the podcast. And I'm sure you're ready for another year of making music.
That's right.
But why don't you go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself a little bit to our listeners? Where are you from originally? If you kind of want to just give us your backstory.
Sure, man. Yeah, I grew up in Weatherford, Texas, just right outside of Fort Worth, and I graduated from high school in 2012. I went to Weatherford College for a couple years. Um, got my associate's degree, and then I transferred to Texas A&M and M
Right.
and graduated from A&M in 2016. And it was in College Station where I really started to play music and go down the career path of a professional musician, uh, artist, writing songs and releasing music, and of course touring all over the place. So um, that's kind of the gist of it. Whenever I was in high school, I was a rodeo cowboy. I was a steer wrestler, and I was also in choir all 4 years of high school. And I've always sang my entire life. And in high school, I started playing guitar, and we'd go to the rodeos, and I'd sit out by the trailers and pick the guitar as I was learning, and
Right.
just sing along to the only song or two really that I knew. and and from then on, man, I just kind of fell in love with being on stage and performing, and my time at A&M is whenever I really started to lean into songwriting. And
Yeah.
um, I spent a little bit of time diving into that, trying to kind of hone those skills, and graduated, of course, in 2016, and then released my first EP, the Words Fly EP, in 2017. And I think I would have to look back. I'm trying to think of the songs that are on there, but I think I wrote five of the six songs on that EP, if I remember correctly. And then um, started playing around, mostly acoustic stuff. I mean, that's how everybody gets started. Started
Right.
playing like at the Tap, and some
Oh
spots
yeah.
around town, and then I started to kind of expand, outwards from College Station. Um, and then let's see, in 2018, I had some dates. My first full band date, like with a with a band that I was gonna, go play more dates with, was actually at Hurricane Harry's. We opened for Mike Ryan
I think I
at
was
Harry's,
there
and
at that
Twisted.
concert. That's funny.
Were you really?
Yeah, I think so because I was like, I swear I've seen you open at Harry's at least once, and I know I went to a lot of Mike Ryan
Okay.
shows there when I was in school. That was my senior year there, so I'm like, I'm pretty sure I was there. That's cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
right
We've
on.
we've opened for Mike a few times there, and we played Harry's a bunch now, and we're going to be there
Right.
again on the 26th with Randall King. But anyway, put a band together in 2018, and ever since then, man, I've been fortunate to call this a career and do this for a living full time. This is what I do. I don't do anything else.
Right.
Um, so it's it's been a lot of fun, man. And then in 2020, I put out my first full length record, 14 songs, self titled record. Um, I think I wrote 13 of the 14 songs on there, with co-writers, of course.
Right.
And since that point, of course, we've gone through all the fun COVID times, and then released a bunch of music singles wise and some EPs over the course of the past few years. And we've got some new music coming out in 2024 as well. So Man, it's been whenever I think about it, let's see, we're coming up on 7 years of doing this full time. It's it's so crazy how fast time flies.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean, I was at Harry's the other day, just like back in town for a concert, or my wife and I will go up there to dance. Sometimes I'm only an hour, from College Station. But we were in there the other day, and I was started thinking, I'm like, I've been coming here for almost 10 years now. I feel so old because I was a freshman in
Right.
2014, and I'm like, I'm sure I went there my freshman year at least once. So, really started going, sophomore and
Yeah.
junior year. But I'm like, that's like 10 years of coming to the same place. I'm like, oh my gosh. I guess that's a testament to
I know,
Harry's being
man.
fun though, but
It's
like
so crazy. The
time.
Harry's is such a fun venue, but
Yeah.
man, it's like you walk in there and it's just so funny. Like playing these college towns anymore is so fun. Just because like it brings back so many memories
Hmm.
of being in college, you know,
Oh yeah.
going and watching shows at Harry's and like thinking, man, I want to play that stage. And now here I've played it. I don't even know how many times. I'd have to go back and look.
Right. And it's just it's time. It blows my mind how fast time goes by, and it only seems to go faster as I get older too, and that's the scary part, right?
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
only 27,
Yeah.
but still, it's like it's oh my gosh, like you blink and then. But
I know what you
uh,
mean. It's crazy.
but yeah, and what you mentioned those COVID times too, how that was kind of crazy. Just to I guess kind of how did that kind of affect your music career and the way everything was going with that?
Yeah, man. It was pretty devastating. I'll be honest with you.
Right. Yeah.
We were having a really strong. We came off of 2019 super strong, and then we had a bunch of dates on the calendar for 2020. And I feel like we had just released my first full length record. Um, those songs were starting to catch fire, and then just 2 months after releasing that record, everything shut down. And our last show that we played, Rodeo Houston, was March 4th, and then we
Right.
had March 12th in Midland, which we were playing. We were literally sitting at dinner in Midland when Rodeo Houston shut everything down.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting at the dinner table telling the guys, we're done for the year. And
Yeah.
and sure enough, we were supposed to play Rodeo Austin on Saturday, and um, and it got canceled. So it was like, dude, it was such a deflating time. It took a pretty good toll on me, just like my mentality
Mentally, yeah.
about moving forward. We it was such a rough time, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I just watched all of our shows get canceled in the blink of an eye, and it was super discouraging. And at that point, I wasn't making any money, and my only source of income, of course, was playing music. And whenever you see all those dates start to drop off your calendar, it's you
Yeah.
start to worry a little bit. And fortunately, my wife, she was working too, but um, we weren't married at the time, so her income was her income, and mine was mine, and
Right.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden I didn't have any. So it was pretty devastating, and I was discouraged. I was super discouraged. I wasn't really writing songs,
Right.
um, because I wasn't sure what the future was going to look like in the business. Um, and then
Yeah.
we started to kind of pick things up, and we were playing some shows, and we got through it. I started mowing lawns like in my neighborhood here in Fort Worth, because just to make a little extra money. And
Well, yeah, because it's
it
like
was
at a certain point, there's no that income that was there before just isn't there. You got to find something else, I guess. In the meantime, that's tough.
that's exactly right. Yeah. And fortunately, like we had some merch sales that came through online, and there were some of those,
Hmm.
like, I never like did one of the virtual shows where like you could Venmo or whatever, but some people would, like, tip me, and like buy extra merch or something like that. And some people just like straight up said, here's $200 or $300 just to get you through. And
Well,
that
that's
was
awesome, man.
super helpful.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
the
no, it was
community
a massive blessing.
and the you really
Exactly.
saw the community all across Texas music and all the independent musicians and everything at that time. Well, and just everyone across the scene really kind of come together because a lot of it didn't just affect the people playing and performing the music too, but and maybe this is more for larger artists and stuff too, but all the people that they employ and everyone employed across the whole industry was hurting because there's not these live shows going on. So everything from the venues to people who maybe help set stuff up on the road or people who are doing anything. And so just seeing the that people were setting up almost like foundations and stuff. Some of the larger artists were doing stuff to help out the smaller artists, and then you had fans that were donating money during those live streams, or like you said, buying extra merch, or just straight up sending money because people wanted to see their favorite music, continue to be a possibility during such a tough time.
Right.
But
Yeah. Another thing too that was really really cool and stuff that I enjoy is doing the private parties. People would hire
yeah,
us to do private parties in their backyard, whether it be acoustic or full band or whatever, but they just wanted to gather with their friends in a public setting, as public as they could be, but in the
right.
comfort of their own homes. And we did quite a few of those private shows, and I got to be honest with you, that's what kept me afloat, paying my own bills. So that was a tough time, really it was, and trying to keep your head up during a situation like that was certainly difficult. But you're also like you're in this crazy space anyway as an artist because you know you're creating something that you're like creating something that everybody has a totally different opinion on.
Yeah,
And what one person likes, another person may completely hate. And so you're like constantly in this internal struggle of, okay, well, if I write this, is this person going to like it? Or are these people going to think that, it's
and then you
different
also
from
want to
what I've
like
done in the
it too.
past? Or, yeah. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's a very like strange, it's just a very strange dynamic internally as an artist whenever you're sitting there thinking about creating something from nothing, essentially.
Well, and
Um,
I never
but
really
no,
thought of it
that
that
was.
way.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I was just gonna say, like, kind of adding to what you said, like, I never really thought of it that way. You're creating something that you want people to resonate with, and you want it to relate to people, but at the same time, you don't want to just create something for someone else because it has to mean something to you too, or else then they're gonna think it's fake. Then it's gonna come off as not meaning something.
Yeah,
So it's like I'm sure it's like a whole like the wheels are spinning in there the whole time you're trying to come up with something for sure.
yeah. It's a like I said, it's an interesting place to be as a creative. But it's I'm so lucky that I've been able to do this for a living. Um, you know, it's something that a lot of people dream of doing, and I've
Yeah.
been fortunate enough to kind of figure it out to make it work. So um,
Is there anything positive that maybe came out of such a bad, time? Like, was there any new music? Was there maybe something you learned from that?
yeah, I think you kind of learn in times of adversity. I think you kind of learn what kind of person you are. So
Yeah.
um, eventually I got out of that slump of not writing music um, and then just figuring out what kind of man you are. Are you
Yeah.
going to be somebody who curls up and says, "All right, I'm done," or are you going to get out there and hustle up and uh, and push on
Figure out a
through?
way.
And I've been that kind of person my whole life, just to figure stuff out. And so even whenever I was rodeoing, I noticed a change in my personal in my personality. I noticed a change going from a kid that uh, was playing sports, and it was so much of a team effort, and then you're rodeoing, and it's pretty much a lot of stuff is all on your shoulders, and then you have a bunch of responsibilities that go with that, and you kind of, like I said, it shows you what kind of man you are, and you face different variables, whether it be in the arena or outside of the arena, um, and then that translates very well into music. I tell people it's a lot like rodeoing because you're traveling hours and hours and hours and
Yeah.
you know thousands of miles for a small, tiny amount of time,
That hurry up and
to
wait.
go out there and make your run or go out there and play your show. That's exactly what it is, and it's just it's those hard times that um, kind of show you who you really are. And so I would definitely say that going through that adversity strengthened me as a person. Um, and then also during COVID, like I said, I got out of that slump. I started writing songs via FaceTime, and that's whenever I started writing songs for the Your Love EP, and then some of the singles that we released over the course of the past couple years. So, um, it certainly hasn't been accelerated in terms of the release strategy, um, but it's allowed me to get in the creative space again, coming out
Right.
out of that adversity. So
Right. And it's I'm sure it was, quite the struggle dealing with that. Just had a lot of negative things, to talk about there. But what's your favorite part? Yeah, I guess shifting gears, right? But what's your favorite part about being a musician? What is the part that you enjoy the most? Is it creating music, like writing the songs, or is it getting on stage and performing, or releasing music, or maybe even something else?
man, I would say um, playing the shows and hanging out with people at the merch stand afterwards, or just after the show, not necessarily at the merch stand, but just seeing people hanging out and enjoying themselves. I'll get people come up to me, and they'll talk about how one song connects with them a certain way, and maybe another song connects with them a different way, or they'll ask me
Bluetooth
questions about the
disconnected.
music, and I can kind of tell them the story. Um, so getting to meet all the people, and then like you'll see the same people come out to show after show, and you just kind of become like a little family, if you will. And
Right.
playing the shows is obviously a lot of fun. Um, Traveling to new places is fun, and seeing new places is a lot of fun. Um, Probably the most fun is being in the studio, just taking a song from straight up, guitar vocal, and turning it
Right.
into a full band production. That's probably the most fun creatively that you can have.
Yeah, because you have, and where I've heard this from people who we've had on here too. You have a song, and it's kind of crazy because you're the only one who knows the song in your head and how it's supposed to sound sometimes when you're writing it. And so until you get it recorded, it's kind of like you have to remember the right way to play it every time unless you got it. That's what I don't know. I've had some guys say that, and it's kind of hard for them to go perform it. Definitely the first couple of times too, because they're like, it's not like there's anything they can listen to to like unless you're recording it as you're writing it.
Yeah,
And but
yeah, it's
definitely getting
true.
in the
Like you'll
studio is
you'll
gonna be
come up
fun.
with it's so much fun, and you'll find too, like you have this guitar vocal, and maybe you've been playing it at shows acoustically just to like test it out, and then the way you the way that you've you know come to play the song is different than how you recorded in the studio. So then like you're having to relearn you're having to like relearn this song,
Hmm.
um just to play it with your band, which is sometimes a funny thing to do, to think about.
Right.
But no, you're absolutely right about you know getting in there and creating something in your head that like only you can hear in your head, and then you're trying to explain that
You're
to
like, I
other
want it to
people,
sound
and then
like
letting
this.
them do their thing.
Uh-huh. Or
Yes,
yeah, no, I'm sure,
exactly.
especially when if you're like visualizing maybe the other instruments in your head, and you're like, so can you give me something that sounds like this? You got to figure out how the right verbiage to explain all that.
Right.
But
Yeah. 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 And you're using adjectives like a little more splashy, not not so clunky, or it's like listening
probably
listening
get some
to
looks.
listening to musicians talk about sounds, especially drum sounds.
Yeah, because it's like,
It's kind of funny.
yeah, because there's so many, it's a drum, but there's so many different ways you can hit it. Like, that's
Right.
I
Yeah.
haven't, yeah, like just things that you don't even think about sometimes. But you said you travel a lot of hurry up and wait, so that means you're on the road a lot. Probably stopping at a lot of gas stations, right? Would that be true to say?
We are indeed. Yeah.
So, what's your go-to gas station snack if you walk into a gas station? What are you grabbing? Like,
Ooh. Um, Man, I this is probably gonna sound weird, but I'm a QT hot dog guy.
okay, hot dogs.
I'm gonna snag a hot dog from QT if that's where we're stopping. If we're going to like a
Bucky's.
Love's or a Pilot or a Flying J or something like that, then I don't know. I don't know what's my go-to there. But Bucky's is typically a burrito of some sort, or maybe a sandwich. They have a great um, turkey melt at
Yes,
Bucky's.
dude. That's what I was getting ready to say. Have you tried their turkey melt there? And they have like it has. I think it's honey mustard. I don't know. There's some kind of sauce on it too that just oozes out of it, and it's all like melty. And oh, I love those
Yes.
things.
Yeah, man. The
Big
turkey
big
melt at
Bucky's guy.
Bucky's is yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Bucky's is goated for sure. Uh, but I'll stick with food here for a second. But do beans belong in chili?
I like beans, so I'm gonna say yes.
I'm good with beans too. But there's those guys that are like, oh, Texas chili doesn't have beans, and then you've got Rich O'Toole on the other side, like, yes, it does. So it's kind of a little like homage to Rich that I ask it now on every episode. He was the first guest that ever came on here, like way back in the beginning. Like,
Oh,
well, I
okay.
say way back, but maybe like a year ago when I started doing this. But he was like on episode 4 when I started doing this, and
Heck
he's
yeah.
got his whole campaign for beans. So we ask everyone now, and it's interesting to hear because there's some like very passionate like for and against arguments. But yeah, so we're
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
put you down for Team
I'm team
Beans.
beans. I like
Team
beans.
Beans. All
That's right.
right. Well, and then going back to the songwriting side of things, what's your favorite song that you've written so far? Doesn't have to be one that's out yet either, if you just want to
Um,
describe it.
yeah. I'll give you a couple. I think my favorite song ever that I've written probably has to be a song called "Like She Does." That one just came out this past year,
Right.
and it's a song I wrote about my wife. Um, I wrote it whenever we were engaged, and the way it turned out in the studio is just exactly to a T how I
What was
imagined
up
it.
there?
And and then we got Kylie Fry to do background vocals on it, which was cool. Kylie's
Right.
such a sweetheart. Um, but that's probably my favorite song I've ever written, just because it means so much to me. And of course, I love my wife dearly. Um, and
Same.
there's a new song that, yeah, well, you got to. And there's a new song that I wrote with Bryce Long and Jeff Hyde called Denver to Dallas. And that one might be one of my favorites as well. It's going to be coming out this next year. I'm not exactly sure when, but keep an eye out for that one. It's just a
Denver to Dallas.
straight up country song. Yep.
Make note of that so we can promote it for you when it comes out. Make sure we share it and everything.
All right.
But yeah, so be on the lookout for Denver to Dallas and stream like she does. Already out now. Um, everywhere, right? Everywhere you get your music, Spotify. I know it's on Spotify. I saw it there, but
Yes,
everywhere
sir.
else too, right? Yes, sir. Um, but yeah, being out on the road again. Going back to that, what's you mentioned? You mentioned rodeo. Being like a seems like a significant part of your life, right? When did you first start rodeoing, and when did you kind of stop? Like, what time period was that? I know you said in high school, but did you continue after high school as well?
Yeah, I started in high school. It would have been the summer of my freshman year of school. We just, I think we were practicing football one day. I think it was in the spring, actually. We started practicing football, or we were just finishing up football practice. And my buddy's dad came and picked us up from football practice. He was like, "All right, we're gonna go learn how to wrestle steers," and uh, and so we went over to Fort Worth, came over to Fort Worth, and we went to this bulldogging clinic and learned how to do it. And that was freshman year of high school, and I rodeoed all the way through high school and went to Weatherford College on a rodeo scholarship, actually,
Oh wow.
to rodeo for Weatherford uh,
Hmm.
for 2 years. And my sophomore year, I got injured a week before our first rodeo that year.
Yeah.
We just got a brand new practice arena, brand new practice steers, and I was literally the first jump on in the new arena in the practice steers,
Hmm.
and I blew out my knee,
Oh.
and so I had to take the year off, and
Yeah.
so then got surgery and did all that stuff, and then I that's whenever I graduated in 2014 from Weatherford, and then I
Right.
transferred to A&M and rodeoed for one semester at A&M.
Okay. So you did it in
And I
A&M
didn't do
as
so
well.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rodeoed at A&M for one semester, but I was I was losing money like crazy. And plus, you're no longer living at home, so you have bills to pay. So
Yeah.
I was spending money on entry fees and travel and all this other stuff, and then I also had bills to pay. So when you're not winning any money and you're not working, that money dries up very quickly. So I stopped rodeoing in the fall of 2014, which would have been my junior year of college at A&M. And
So do you
so that's whenever I that's whenever I kind of started playing music a little bit,
more seriously kind of
just dabbling.
or dabbling? Yeah, because I know you talked about like while you were rodeo in high school and stuff, you would, you know, you were doing a little bit, but I guess once you kind of quit the rodeo, is that when you got like more full time into music?
Yeah, I certainly
I'm just
started
trying to get the timeline.
trying to. I appreciate that. Um, my junior year of college, I wasn't really sure that I could make make singing a career per se.
Right.
Um, but I was to the point where like I could go maybe play a show and get paid a couple $100.
Right.
Um, so I would do a couple of those things, and then at the same time I was also like getting summer jobs and doing internships and trying to bolster my professional resume.
Right.
And as it turns out, I don't even need one at this point. But it's it really wasn't until my senior year of college that
Right.
it was in the spring of 2016 actually that I really started to think about giving it a go. And that kind of just came from actually doing the internships and like doing the 9 to 5 like job stuff. I was like, this isn't that much fun. And
Yeah.
and playing music was. And so like I said, I started writing songs at that point and playing around town, and then, making a little bit of money so that I could, pay my bills. And then fortunately in College Station, the rent was cheap, so I wasn't having to make that much money.
Right.
Uh, so I could play music, and I could go make, a few $100, and at the same time I could, have the freedom to write a song at 2 a.m. or, go to class and then go play basketball or whatever. So it was this beautiful balance of having the freedom to pretty much do, you know, what I wanted when I wanted, but
Right.
also still being able to make a living as a college student, I guess, if you're able to do that, um, by playing music, which is what I ultimately ended up doing, and that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And then so, just circling back to the rodeo for like just a second. I mean, do you ever miss rodeoing at all?
Man, sometimes I do, but like I said, their music and rodeo are so closely related, and
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of times we're playing rodeos, so it's
Yeah.
like
So you're
I'm
still around
still
it.
around. I'm s- oh, I'm around it a lot, and
Yeah.
it's funny. Like you'll be like around the same circle of people. Like I do some stuff for the Cowboy Channel, and Resist All Hats is a sponsor of ours, and they're big into the rodeo scene, the Western world as well. So I see a
Right.
lot of the same people. It's just a different thing.
Yeah. No, and that's an interesting way to put it. And obviously being in country music, you're gonna find yourself around rodeo at some point, one way or another. And yeah, I think that's certainly true. And I mean, talking rodeo and music and stuff kind of takes us into our next point. I mean, do you have any other like hobbies or interests or any things or passions outside of music?
Yeah,
Thing.
I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. But in terms of like my hobbies and other stuff, my wife and I, we love to travel. So we travel quite a bit. I've been fortunate to book some shows over in various places. We're going to Europe,
Oh wow,
to play
yeah,
some dates here in just a few weeks, um, and I'll do that again later this year, for another couple dates. But getting to see the world is something that you know I've always wanted to do, and I'm like I said, I'm very fortunate that I get to do it, um, and I get to play music. So I'm trying.
kind of combining that interest of traveling with, like you were saying, doing your career, your passion, your thing that you always wanted to do, and you're getting to at the same time maybe you're gonna change someone over there because they're gonna experience music they never heard before. I don't know unless you have a lot of fans in Europe. I don't know. I mean, but I think that's neat and of itself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sometimes I'm just blown away at the opportunities that I've had, and the cool stuff that I get to do, because of this job that I have. Um, so we do quite a bit of traveling, and I'm also kind of getting a little bit into real estate. We bought a rental property that we're uh, trying to expand on, and maybe get a
Yeah.
couple more of those as time goes on. Um, I recently got my pilot's license as well, so that's
Oh, that's
another
cool.
hobby of mine. Um, so yeah, man. I mean, we stay busy all the time. Whenever I'm not on the road, we're always doing something. And my wife just started a floral business this past year, so she's trying to get that off the ground as well. So it's a busy time, man. It's a really
Yeah.
busy time, but that's what your mid to late 20s and early 30s are for, is to take risks and do the things that you want to do, and try and build and prepare for the next chapter, whatever that may be for you.
Well, yeah, and I think it's interesting you say that. I think I fit that bill. I'm in the mid to late 20s. I'm 27. So I mean, I started this podcast last year. I'll just say last year. I think it was last year. I know it was less than a year we started doing video episodes. Because originally it was just on Spotify, and it was a lot less. It was a lot more janky in the beginning. I just had my phone, and I'm like talking into my phone, and over time I'm like, I need a microphone, I need this, I need lighting, I need. Because then when I started like recording it, putting it on YouTube, I'm like, okay, I want it to look like somewhat cool behind me, and then I'm like, oh, there's shadows on my face, I need lights, and I'm like, my eyes look weird, like I'm not looking at the camera. I'm gonna start wearing sunglasses. I'm trying to think. I overthink everything and analyze everything. I'm sure you do the same thing as an artist.
Heck yeah.
What countries in particular are you gonna visit while you're over there and be performing in?
This time, we're going to be playing in Zurich, Switzerland, a little town in Austria called Niederhag. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not 100% sure. And then another small town. I think it's pronounced Caros or maybe Caro in the south of France. So we were supposed to have another date in Germany outside of Munich,
Okay.
but that one got canceled. So now it's just 3 dates. But this summer I played in Italy, and
Wow.
I think I can announce it. I hope so. I'm going to be going back over there and playing in Spain in October, and maybe we'll get some more dates, in other countries as well. Um, so we'll see. That's such a cool thing. I know we just talked about it, but it's such a cool thing, man, to be able to go over there and play music for for the folks over there. Because when it's like I'll tell people about it, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to Europe? I mean, can they understand what you're saying? It's a different language." And I'm like, "Well,
Hmm.
I don't know if they can understand English, but they can hear the music, they can feel the music,
Well, yeah,
um, and that's
and
music is like the universal language, and so that's what's so cool about it."
when it's like I married a Latina. She's bilingual even, but I go to her family and her extended family's house and stuff all the time. And a lot of times they're playing songs in Spanish, like straight up Mexican music, Tejano music, all that stuff. And I love all of that music now. And I have the songs, a lot of the songs saved on my phone, and I'll listen to them. And a lot of times I don't know. I mean, I know a good bit of Spanish, but in a song, like I can't translate it fast enough in my head as I'm hearing it to what they're saying. So I'm just like sitting
Yeah.
there like, yeah, this is a bop, but I don't necessarily know what they're saying. So like you're saying, you don't have to necessarily know what they're saying to like the way it sounds, or the way it feels. Like I'm over there jamming Los Tigres del Norte and uh, whatever else, Bo Bundy every now and then, like some of that stuff. But yeah, it's a good time. Music in other languages is just as good. It's like you said, music's a universal language. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting too because like I don't know this because I don't my experience is not very vast in playing music over there. I've only done a few dates to this
right.
point, but it seems like there's starting to be a lot more popularity with American country music um, over in that part of the world now, and you're starting to see a lot more country artists going over there and playing songs, and maybe it's different instrumentation or just the different genre. I mean, it sounds probably totally different from anything that
Yeah,
they listen to over
that's
there.
true.
So it's just really cool. Like you're starting to see, like I said, you're starting to see a bunch of artists go over there and play, extended tours. multi-week tours over there, and it's just it's cool. It's a great opportunity for even young artists like myself, because that's just kind of paving the way for us
Yeah,
to be able to do that more often.
yeah, because someone from like yourself from the Texas music scene, you don't think about really it becomes a world tour at that point. You're going around the world playing
Yeah,
music, and a lot of times you think Texas musicians play in Texas because that's kind of what's in the name, but it's like that's certainly not true anymore. You're playing all across the South and up north and anywhere in the United States. But now I've seen a lot of there's that Texas country music cruise, and then there's people going down into Mexico and stuff too, and maybe in the resorts and stuff. But now and now going over to Europe and stuff too. It's just cool seeing it go international for sure. But
definitely.
speaking of tour dates, you're announcing some tour dates around the world. But do you have anything coming up soon that you want to tell us about? Maybe closer to home.
With Randall King, we've got some other dates with Randall coming up this year that'll get announced later on. But we've got this Europe thing coming up, and then uh, after we get back from Europe, I'm going to be out of the not out of the country. I'm going to go to Hawaii for a week, just on a vacation with my wife, and um, after that, then we'll start to really fill up the calendar and get going. We'll start booking more shows into the spring, but this time of year is really slow in terms of booking shows.
Hmm.
So it's not my calendar is certainly not as full as I would like it to be, but that's kind of typical this time of year. But we'll start to release those dates as we get closer to them into the spring. And then, of course, as we book more of them, they'll start to pop up on the calendar. But in terms of right now, we've got some of that stuff with Randall, and then this Europe stuff, and then we got a couple things in the spring booked right now, which all of that is on the website winwilliamsmusic.com. And
Right
then, of
on.
course, like I said, we'll begin as we start rolling into the new year even further. We'll start to announce more dates and get out there on the road. I'm trying to get out of state a lot more this year if I can.
Yeah.
Um, we've been playing we've been playing the same venues here in Texas for several years now, and it's
Right.
just um, I'm wanting to grow a little bit further and kind of extend my reach to some of these other states, um, especially like up towards the Midwest and out further west towards the Rockies
Right.
and the West Coast. And I would love to go east too. Um,
Oh yeah.
it's
There's
just to get out of Texas, you're driving several hours. Um,
no matter which direction
so
you
trying to
go.
make that
Right.
work logistically.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. The logistics of getting out of state is sometimes a challenge, but if you can make it all come together, then it can be really cool because because you're going, like I said, playing new places, and you're getting to meet new fans and just continue to grow on the fan base that you have here.
Well, I never really think about that with playing shows out of state. Being based in Texas, it's like if you're gonna go play out of state, you got to go play out of state for a little while. You want to be on the road for a little while to make it worth your while, because that's a lot of driving to get out, just to get up out of the state, and then if you're going way north to play a show, you don't want to have to come all the way back down and not be playing anything on the way back down. So, it's just there's a lot that goes into that. I'm sure planning a tour.
Absolutely, yeah. We're trying to get out west, like I said, this year, and some of it involves catching flights, between
Yeah.
weekends, and playing a show in Texas and then flying out somewhere else and using equipment that's there, and then the van and trailer drives to the next town that you're going to play.
Yeah.
It's a lot of logistics, but you know, as they say, the show must go on, and that's just what you do. You just have to be able to adapt to that kind of stuff. and
Have to
and
build.
if we want to
Yeah.
get to a point really where we're starting to grow outside of Texas, then that's what we're going to have to do. So it's a challenge, but it's also exciting to think about because you just kind of like going back to the COVID situation, you kind of push yourself and figure
Yeah,
out, what you can make work.
always trying to push the limits too, and just um, keep growing because I'm sure growth is just always like the goal at the end of the day. You want more people to hear your music, and then that's more opportunity for more people to connect with your music, and then that's the ultimate goal. To build a fan base and have people affected by your music.
Exactly.
And then you talk about you've played a lot of these venues here in Texas over the past few years. What's your favorite music venue that you've had the opportunity to perform at, either in state or out of state? And then what are some that you have as goals for the future?
Yeah. Some of our favorite venues in the state of Texas are Floors Country Store um, down in Helotes, Texas, outside of San Antonio. Um, it's one of the old school dance halls, kind of like Green Hall, which is a
Right.
legendary spot, of course. Um, there's some more modern places. One specifically in Arlington called Texas Live, which is right next to the
Oh, right
Rangers
by the
ballpark.
Cowboys stadium and
Um,
the Rangers, right?
and yeah, and Cowboy Stadium exactly. And we play there quite a bit. That's one of our favorite spots to play. The hospitality is fantastic. They treat us well. The crowds are always great.
Yeah.
We actually played the first night of the World Series at Texas Live
Wow.
when the Rangers were at home this past year.
Probably
So that was a
packed
really
out
cool
there. Yeah.
experience. Yeah. There's another place too we played at the end of December in Dallas called Longhorn Ballroom.
Hmm.
And apparently it's been around for a long time, but they recently renovated everything. And that is a first class venue. They treated us, I mean, we were opening for Kevin Fowler, and they treated
Yeah.
us just like Kevin Fowler. I mean, it was, a lot of times you go play places as an opening act, and sometimes you don't get treated great. But here
Yeah.
at Longhorn Ballroom, everything was first class from the moment we arrived. I mean, we were just treated so well, and every single one of the staff were like excited that we were there, and they were excited to help, and they wanted to help. And when you go play a place like that, it can very quickly become one of your favorites, just because they're kind of like unicorns.
Well, yeah, because it's just not every one is going to give you that same level of treatment when you're opening, I guess. Because sometimes they just kind of want you to go out and do your thing and leave, get out of the way for the next one, huh?
Sometimes it can feel that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can, but that's not to
No, and
that's
that's
not to
not.
talk
Yeah,
down
but
on any of the venues,
no.
it's the reality of the situation.
Hmm.
But those are some of the venues that we have created really good relationships with, and like I
Yeah.
said, the hospitality is the number one thing. If you can just treat us well, um, and have staff that are excited to be there,
Yeah.
that want to be at work, that's just like it's like great customer service. I mean, you want to go back to the places that have great customer service.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of places out of state, um, I'm gonna have to go outside of the country for some of those cool spots.
Yeah.
Um, Italy being one of them, and I know that Switzerland is going to be pretty incredible. We spent some time in
Yeah.
Switzerland this summer, and it was just like what you see on social media. It's like a fairy
Yeah.
tale place. Um, and then for stuff this year, man, I really want to play Billy Bob's. That's like
Yeah.
been on the top of my venue list for the past couple years, and
And not
I'm
only,
hopeful that this year we'll get that opportunity.
I'm sure it's been up there. Not only is it Billy Bob's, but it's right in your backyard if you're up there in Fort Worth.
Yeah,
you know.
man. I mean, I grew up going there. In high school, I'd go see concerts. In college, I'd go see concerts, and I don't know. It's kind of like Harry's in College Station. You know, you
Yeah,
look up there and you go, man, I'd sure like to play that stage someday, and then you do, and you do it a
yeah,
number of times, and then and then you kind of look at as you grow, you look at bigger venues and bigger opportunities, and Billy Bob's is
yeah.
certainly one of those things. Eventually, Red Rocks
Right.
playing Cheyenne Rodeo would be awesome. Um, ultimately, I want to play stadiums, but that's up to the listeners and that's up to the folks that come out to the
Houston
shows.
rodeo one day. Like Houston
Absolutely.
rodeo or Dallas, like all the big. You say playing stadiums, that would be cool. But
Yes,
but
sir.
yeah, it's just it's and and it just it happens now. People come up on the Texas scene, and then they next thing you know they're playing arena shows. I mean, look at guys like uh Parker and Co. Started off. I mean, I saw Parker at Harry's opening for Josh Abbott band for about 100 people back in like 2016, and now he's playing for 70, 80,000 people at the rodeo every year. So it's pretty cool to see that. But while I have you here today, anything else that you wanna share, or anything coming up you want to let us know while you're here on the pod?
Yeah, we got new music coming out this year. We're excited about that. But keep an eye out on social media for that kind of stuff. Um, and then, like I said, as we move closer into the springtime and of course through the summer, we're gonna start ramping up the tour dates as well. So all that can be found on my social media and on my website. So go check that out. Keep an eye on us. Go stream my music that I have out now and share it with your friends.
Right
And
on.
you know, help us come to your town.
Yeah. Well, come on down to Magnolia. I do know there is a honky tonk opening about 10 minutes from my house here pretty soon. It's one that when it was open was the second oldest dance hall in Texas. At least that's what the owner told me when I stopped by there the other day. But it's
Wow.
Henry's Hideout. Did an episode on it on here like a few episodes back. I'll send it to you when we get off of here. But the place looks awesome in there, and they have a big dance floor. They're going to be doing live shows there and stuff, as well as just it's a really neat place. So I'm hoping that it'll bring a lot of like bigger names and smaller names and just more live music around here. Check that out for sure.
I will.
But
Henry's Hideout.
Henry's Hideout, it's in. It might be listed
Okay.
as being in Plantersville, but it's like on the border of Plantersville and Magnolia, like right there. But
Okay.
yeah. But this has been the Red Dirt Aggie Show. I'm Brian, the Red Dirt Aggie. That over there is Wynn Williams. Thanks for hanging out today, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me. Gig 'em.
Yeah, as always, gig 'em. And as always, gig 'em and God bless. And we'll see you next time.